Boy, Skelly Cat, I'm glad I found this Kolchak starter kit. I don't think he'll miss it at all. What do you think? Oh, hey, tonight on Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror, we stalk the stalker. No, not your ex who won't stop liking your crypt pics. We're talking vampires, Vegas, and very bad journalism ethics. Meet Carl Kolchak, a washed-up reporter with snark, a tape recorder, and the fashion sense of a haunted Dick Tracy who lost a bet with Disco Dracula. He's snooping around Vegas like an amateur bloodhound with bad allergies, chasing down a killer who drains victims faster than a teen zombie with a brain slurpee. Oh, and spoiler alert, it's not Elvis in a cape, but it is someone who bites harder than Skelly Cat on Toe Jam Night. That's right, fleshies, this isn't CSI, it's OMG! So grab your shiny chrome crosses, your press passes, and your garlic mints because it's time for the ultimate made-for-TV event, the 1972 film The Night Stalker. That's right, fleshies, don't forget to tune in because we'll be hot on the trail of vampire real estate, seersucker drama, and the kind of undead journalism that makes Watergate look like a book report written in crayon by a zombie with half a frontal lobe. Wait, we've got bureaucratic cover-ups, blood-drained beauties, and one man with a recorder and a flashbulb camera set to extra vampy. So pop some popcorn, sharpen your stakes, and get comfy in your crypt because this showdown has more bite than a cemetery cat just before dawn. And if you miss this, don't come crying to me when your shadow starts hissing or your reflection skips town like it owes money to a ghost. This is a must-see vampire tale that launched 1,000 creepy cliches. So don't blink, don't breathe, and don't, for the love of brains, do not touch that remote. Class is in session, the fangs are flying, and this one's gonna bleed to brilliance.
Now, if you're not afraid of something a little out of the ordinary,
vampires, werewolves, ghouls, ghosts, mummies that come back to life after 3,000 years. The magic moments of terror.
Festering fright fans, my moldy minions, my gory gal pals and graveyard guys, it's me, Sally the Zombie Cheerleader, resurrected, reanimated, and ready to rerun the reel of one of TV's creepiest classics. Welcome to Sally the Zombie Cheerleader School of Horror, where horror's vintage, the laughs are rotten, and the syllabus is soaked in blood and gory glitter. And tonight's flick, the 1972 made-for-TV movie that started it all, a little thing called The Night Stalker. Well, no, it's not the 1980s serial killer. Oh, wrong genre. This is the original vampire crime procedural. Think of it as Perry Mason meets Nosferatu with bonus polyester. Now, our man, Carl Kolchak, a snarky reporter with more nerve than notes, starts sniffing around some very bloodless murders in Vegas. You know, the usual. Bite marks, drained bodies, and suspiciously strong suspects who avoid sunlight. And while the cops are trying to sweep it under the rug, Carl's busy unrolling that rug and yelling, "There's a coffin under here!" Now, if you've never seen this film, allow me to break it down zombie style. Kolchak is basically the 70s cousin of Woodward and Bernstein, minus the journalistic ethics, but with twice the flair for monster mayhem. This guy chases a vampire around Sin City like a brain-starved ghoul chasing a runaway skull. Wait, it's got all the essentials: neck-munching, bureaucratic bumbling, and the fashion sense of a bloodthirsty bingo night binger. Imagine if 60 Minutes was hosted by a conspiracy-obsessed zombie in a seersucker suit, muttering about garlic and filing FOIA requests written in blood. That's the vibe, and honestly, we're here for it, fleshies, and I even have my own seersucker suit. So before I forget, give me a B, give me an L, give me a O-O-D. What's that spell? Blood, fleshies, delicious, nutritious, and vampires can't resist the drop.
Hey, Sally. aerobics class meets newsroom drama.
Yeah. Oh, and did I mention I have my own seersucker suit? Anyway, this bloodsucker of a film is based on a fantastic script by Richard Matheson. Yeah, that spooky genius, and it all started with a creepy, crawly little story by Jeff Rice that hadn't even clawed its way out of the crypt into bookstores yet.
Whoa.
Think of it as Watergate with fangs, except the tapes hiss back.
Hey!
So gather around the TV and your nearest Ouija board, fleshies. It's time to raise the dead and the volume, because this blood-soaked broadcast bites back. What am I talking about? Well, it's the 1972 made-for-TV film The Night Stalker, of course, where Vegas lights glow and vampire bites light up the strip. It's got suspense, supernatural sleuthing, and a vampire who's less Count Chocula and more Count Chuck ya across the room. Okay, so maybe the effects scream TV budget, but the vibes, well, they're to die for.
Time to go down to the basement for some more hauntingly delicious Count Chocula cereal.
All right, I'm getting there. Welcome to Sally the Zombie Cheerleader School of Horror and the Night Stalker special. So grab your popcorn, your favorite severed limb, and prepare to be hunted down alleyways of paranoia and polyester in this blood-sucking broadcast from beyond. All right, class, all right, settle down. But before we sink our zombie chompers into a whirlwind of bug-eyed bureaucrats, blood-sucking buzzwords, and bedazzled bell-bottom Vegas mayhem... Okay, I'm getting there. But before we get tangled in twisted typewriter ribbon and paranormal paranoia plunged into poltergeist paperwork and buried beneath bloated, blustering bureaucracy... Okay, I'll stop there. Let's discuss today's objectives for the class. So grab your seats, fleshies and fiends, sharpen that number 2 pencil, and start taking notes.
Come in dispatch. Send more paramedics.
Okay, what will all the fleshies and monsters know by the end of class that they didn't know or didn't want to know before tuning in to Sally's show? Learn how to get fired by every newspaper in the continental U.S. Understand why confronting bureaucrats with supernatural theories often ends in unemployment or ridicule. Analyze how the 1970s fashion can either conceal or reveal your inner monster hunter or vampy nature. Explore the long-term effects of truth-telling in media settings. Spoiler, you might want to keep that resume updated. Spot the classic signs of a vampire on the prowl: sunlight sneezing, mirrorphobia, and a neck fetish so strong even turtlenecks file restraining orders. For materials, well, you just need me, Sally, and pay attention because there will be a test at the end of the lesson. Oh, and additional materials required: notepads, an old flash camera and a tape recorder, and one very cranky editor. And the class assignment? Well, we'll get to that soon, but first, a few Sally fun film facts about the Night Stalker. Now, we have a full class today, so I'll try to keep some of this brief. The Night Stalker was the most watched TV movie of its time. Seriously, more eyeballs than a zombie at an all-you-can-eat peeper buffet. Darren McGavin, who plays Kolchak, would later go on to be the dad in A Christmas Story. That's right, before he yelled about leg lamps, he yelled about fragile vampires.
Ah, fragile. It must be Italian.
Dan Curtis, who produced the film, was also the mastermind behind Dark Shadows. Clearly, the man had a thing for fanged fiends and fog machines.
I can do many things that ordinary people can't do.
The vampire Janos Skorzeny never speaks a word in the film. He's all hiss and no monologue. Well, it makes him a great first date if you like your dates all silent and fangy. This flick inspired The X-Files, and Chris Carter even said Kolchak was Mulder's spiritual daddy, which means maybe rumpled seersucker suits and pork pie hats are the real family heirlooms.
The truth is out there.
Alright class, settle down, settle down. Our class assignment is to watch the 1972 made-for-TV special, The Night Stalker. But before we dive fang-first into Vegas vampirism, let's go over a few vocabulary words you'll want to carve into your tombstones. Bloodsploitation, a pulpy blend of horror and hard-hitting journalism where blood flows freer than hotel comps in Vegas. Sassy stakeout, when a vampire hunt comes with sarcasm, snark, and suspicious nibbles. Seersucker spook show, the unease you feel when a sweaty reporter in a rumpled seersucker suit and straw hat starts chasing down vampires with nothing but sass, a tape recorder, and a suit that crinkles louder than your bones at a yoga class. Newsprint noir, dark, gritty, investigative horror with headlines like, "Is your neighbor a Nosferatu?" Undead PR crisis, when your city's vampire problem becomes more about the bad press than the body count. All right, class, all right, settle down, settle down. You have your vocabulary words. Now it's time for Movie Goops. When Vincenzo tells Kolchak he won't print the vampire story, Kolchak suggests that they instead print a special featurette about the two girl victims. There was a third female victim who happened to be before this scene. Well, I guess the third unlucky lady that got chomped before the scene didn't make the editorial cut. Typical undead erasure. Kolchak describes a victim as 125 luscious pounds minus the weight of 12 pints of blood. Of course. Well, but come on, Carl. Unless she was secretly a blood bank, most fleshies only carry about 8 pints. Talk about blood inflation. When Kolchak is taking pictures at Scorzeni's nighttime assault at the hospital, his camera flash isn't working. Well, of course it isn't. It's the 1970s. He's using a camera older than Dracula's dental plan, and the batteries probably screamed and ran when they saw the fang marks on the negatives. All right, you have your vocabulary words and movie goops checked off. Your assignment is to watch the 1972 made-for-TV film, The Night Stalker.
I see dead people.
Pretty much.
No, Skellycat, I don't think Kolchak would want me to wear his pants. Besides, they won't.
Yeah.
Anyway, so why is this film a graveyard smash? Well, it invented the modern Monster of the Week format. No X-Files, no Buffy, no Supernatural without Kolchak. This crusty, savvy sleuth paved the way with typewriter ribbon and super snark. Now, right after haunting the airwaves with dark shadows, the spine-tingling soap opera, and its 2 theatrical freakouts, Dan Curtis rose from his crypt to produce this beautiful TV movie. Packed with top-notch acting, eerily perfect locations, and a script so sharp it could double as a wooden stake, penned by the legendary Richard Matheson, based on an unpublished story by Jeff Rice that had more bite than a haunted apple bobbing booth. And to helm this coffin cruise, British director John Llewellyn Moxey of Horror Hotel fame, because nothing says TV terror like a spooky Brit and a bonfire.
Hey, Kelly, I could be a Kelly, sir. Kolchak, I already had a hat.
Yeah, I know, Skellycat. You would make a great Kolchak. You already have a hate for authority, the love of dark, and sleep in weird positions. You have no idea. Anyway, but for now, let's stick with the real deal, who actually gets paid to investigate the undead and not just knock things off my bookshelf at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, class, let's take a little detour down Vampire Boulevard with your favorite polyester-suited Phantom Chaser, Carl Kolchak, which I may or may not have his seersucker suit and straw pork pie hat that says, "I fight evil, but I also enjoy lemonade on porches." Maybe not me.
Oh, brother.
But first, it's time for Sally's star-studded creep-tastic roll call. Darren McGavin as Carl Kolchak. Now, you may know him better as the dad who got way too excited about a leg lamp in A Christmas Story. But here, he's all grit, gumption, and garlic. He chomps on every scene like it owes him rent, and we love him for it. Simon Oakland as Tony Vincenzo plays Kolchak's long-suffering editor. Basically the guy screaming, "You're fired!" every 10 minutes. But before this, he starred in Bullet and Psycho. After this, probably had reoccurring vampire-related migraines. Carol Lindley as Gail Foster, Kolchak's lady friend who somehow isn't completely freaked out by his vampire obsession or his fashion choices. She starred in The Poseidon Adventure, and Bunny Lake is missing. Barry Atwater as Genos Skorzeny, the silent, snarling vampire who never says a word but hisses like it's going out of style. Atwater also did an episode of Star Trek. He played a telepathic alien. So basically this guy has range, space weirdo to Vegas Dracula. Claude Atkins and Kent Smith. They play grumpy authority figures because this was the 70s and they were required parts in crime dramas and horror flicks. The film was directed by John Llewellyn Moxey, who also helmed a ton of other spooky TV staples like The City of the Dead and The House That Would Not Die. The script was penned by Richard Matheson. Yes, the same genius who gave us I Am Legend and several legendary Twilight Zone episodes. Basically, this film is horror royalty. And don't forget, this film was produced by Dan Curtis, the grand ghoul behind Dark Shadows. Now, if your TV suddenly gets foggy, dramatic, and suspiciously full of fang holes, odds are Curtis sprinkled his spooky sparkle all over it like haunting glitter. Now, this man didn't just produce horror, he infested it like it was a stylish mold.
Hey, Kelly, it's kind of like the on-RP team of 70s television.
That's right, Skelly Cat. These aren't just your average late-night nobodies. This is top-shelf spooky drama cinema with a TV guide listing. Now, back to the crinkly seersucker crusader of chaos. Let's see how many city officials Kolchak can annoy while rocking that rumpled suit and pork pie hat before the vampire sinks his teeth into someone else. Roll it! Oh, so take your seats, silence your possessed smartphones, and prepare to watch Carl Kolchak investigate Las Vegas's bloody night shift. It's time to stalk the Night Stalker!
Chapter 1. This is the story behind one of the greatest manhunts in history. Maybe you read about it, or rather what they let you read about it, probably as some minor item buried somewhere on a back page. However, what happened in that city between May 16th and May 28th of this year was so incredible that to this day the facts have been suppressed in a massive effort to save certain political careers from disaster and law enforcement officials from embarrassment. This will be the last time I will ever discuss these events with anyone. So when you have finished this bizarre account, judge for yourself its believability, and then try to tell yourself, wherever you may be, it couldn't happen here. Sunday, May 16th. At approximately 2:30 a.m., Cheryl Hughes was standing at the intersection of Casino Center and Fremont Streets waiting for a girlfriend to give her a lift home. Cheryl Hughes was 23, 5 feet 5 1/2 inches tall, 118 pounds, blonde hair, light brown eyes, swing shift change girl at the Gold Dust Saloon. Cheryl Hughes, tired and hungry, but just mad enough to walk the 8 blocks to her small frame house off the corner of 9th and Bridger. Cheryl Hughes, en route to her doom.
No evidence of dependent lividity either.
Peel back the chest flap, please. This should do it.
It's incredible.
Begin the gross work on internal organs. I'm going to phone the district attorney. And don't talk about this to anyone.
I came into it 2 days later, called back 97 miles from the first vacation I had had in 2.5 years because the story is so big no one else can handle it, according to our lovable managing editor. Rumor has it that the day Anthony Albert Vincenzo was born, his father left town. The story may be apocryphal, but I believe it. The only point I wonder about is why his mother didn't leave, too.
Good morning, slaves. We are not amused.
Kolchak, you are on it.
A 2-day-old, third-rate murder.
You are on it.
From what about them?
They have other assignments.
You're beautiful when you're angry.
Out.
First stop, County General to see one of my most reliable spies. At least he used to be reliable.
Hello, Carl.
Oh, I thought you were disbarred from malpractice.
I thought we were rid of you for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so did I. Well, about this, Cheryl Hughes thing. Why does it say officially undetermined under cause of death?
Why don't you ask the coroner?
Oh, thanks. Come on, you're my spy here. Listen, haven't I kept quiet about all those illegal operations you've been performing in closets? Come on, tell me true now, John. Was there anything unusual about the autopsy?
No, all I know is she lost a lot of blood.
Yeah, some spy.
I'm just a poor, hard-working doctor that occasionally takes pity on an aging reporter. Dr. O'Brien, any messages there for me?
Like a Pulitzer Prize story to me. Second stop, the Gold Dust Saloon, and a chat with Gail Foster, one of Cheryl Hughes' fellow workers, and a rather close friend of mine.
Poor Cheryl. I feel just terrible about it, Carl.
Well, honey, if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to.
No, I want to help if I can.
Well, you said that she never had any boyfriends.
No, none that I ever heard of. She dated once in a while, but never the same man twice. I don't think she liked men.
Yeah?
Yeah. She even took karate lessons in case one got fresh with it.
You mean that she knew karate?
Yeah. Brown belt. Oh, I see him. I've got to go. Bye-bye.
In any town the size of Las Vegas, the murder of one young woman hardly causes a ripple. But then the ripple started. Thursday, May 20th, 7:02 a.m.
Over there. I didn't go down. I couldn't. Okay. Don, take your statement. What took you so long, Kolchak?
I got a flat tire.
Not a footprint inside.
Is that physically possible?
If it happened, it's possible.
Well, it sure looked like it happened.
Now, come on.
Bonnie Reynolds, 27, divorced, cocktail waitress at the Harem Room Casino.
Look at her throat.
She must have lost an awful lot of blood.
Cheryl Hughes lost a lot of blood, too.
You read that in the newspapers, did you?
No, I didn't read that in the newspaper.
This girl lost a lot of blood, Sheriff. But she didn't lose it here.
Anything?
We found a purse. There's signs of a struggle up here.
But nothing in between. Only our footprints.
What'd he do, throw her?
Who said Bonnie Reynolds was thrown 22 feet into that car? The coroner? I haven't heard about it. Who said this new killing is connected with the Cheryl Hughes murder? The police? Not to me, they haven't. Who said Cheryl Hughes died of massive blood loss? The coroner again? No, he hasn't even turned in his report yet. And who, may I ask, said that a super powerful madman is running loose in Las Vegas? You hearing voices, Kolchak?
I did not make up the facts.
Oh, I know your boy. Big-time reporter like you condemned to the sticks for those journalistic grooves.
I did not make up...
I know you'd like a big fat byline on a big fat story so you can pay your way back to a big fat city job.
I did not...
Kolchak, I expect you to report, not to come up with fairy tales. And Kolchak, quit barking the PD. If something turns up, they'll let us know. Meanwhile, use your head and lay off. Whatever they're up to, they don't want any help from amateur bloodhounds like you.
Friday, May 21st, 8:06 a.m. Apartment of Carol Hanachek, swing shift cocktail waitress in the Bird of Paradise show lounge. She'd gotten home around 2:15 a.m., poured herself a glass of milk, opened the back door of the kitchen for reasons unknown, and died, like the others. Suddenly, quietly, without disturbing her sleeping roommate only a few feet away. Something of a pattern had started to form, and it was ugly. It was then that people stopped talking.
All right. Do you want to just say it? Or I'll be like...
You cue us up and then tell us when you want to say it and we'll jump in.
All right. You're going to say it. He's going to say it. All right. Wow. I'm surrounded. What do you want to do now?
Sally the Zombie School of... Oh, no. Sally the Zombie Cheerleader
many have
School
tried.
of Horror.
Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror.
Sally the Zombie's Cheerleader School of Horror.
One more time.
Sally the Zombie's Cheerleader School of Horror.
Gee, Skellycat, I wonder if vampire capes are dry clean only or hand wash only.
Really?
No, I'm just wondering. I'm asking for a friend.
I don't think I'll touch out into an underrated vampire.
Yeah, Skellycat. That cereal mascot has only bitten things that are either frosted or sugar-coated since 1971. He's sweeter than your last undead date. And, well, just as flaky.
I didn't turn in a cereal that's in a sun, Daddy.
Only because you store him in the crypt with a do not toast sign. You know, come to think of it, I wonder what I would look like in a cape. If vampires can rock capes, I bet you they would look great on zombies. What do you think?
Hey, Sally, if you're ever in the market for another dead Nate, you can always try kindling.
Yeah, there's something on there guaranteed to light a fire under your skirt.
Just swipe nope for Sally.
Stop that and no thank you. Besides, Skellycat's the one that's looking, not me. And the last time I used that app, I got burned. And by the way, this is a classroom, not open mic at the Crypt Comedy Club.
Don't stop anything that's funny, Sally.
Oh, hey, you're back. Excellent. Now, where were we? Oh, welcome back to Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror. Oh, yes, a cozy little scene full of ominous music and desert dust. We find Kolchak pulled from his overdue vacation sniffing out a story, and he already suspects something fishy, or maybe fangy. And speaking of undead romance and conversations with the intellectual death of a worm buffet, the movie kicks off in classic horror fashion. Late night, desert heat, Vegas lights, and boom, dead girls drained of blood. Honestly, I've seen livelier corpses at my family reunion.
Yes, Daddy, time with things.
Kolchak, our cynical reporter, looking dapper in his dusty seersucker coat and more attitude than a banshee on karaoke night. Well, he shows up like he's already suspicious of everyone, including his own socks. He takes one look at the crime scene and goes, yep, definitely not a regular murder. Kolchak starts poking around like a nosy neighbor with a notepad. And you can practically hear the soundtrack whispering, it's a weird one, Carl.
Hey, Daddy, the vampire is all yet asking for a friend.
Only if the scrub has garlic in it. Exfoliate and eliminate. Poof! It's the only day spa that doubles as a vampire defense. Anyway, it's a strong start. Creepy murder, cranky reporter, and foreshadowing thicker than zombie brain gravy. And trust me, that's extra thick.
Yeah, Daddy, I care less. It's making soup.
Hey, that was goulash, and thank you very much. Wait a minute, you said you liked my soup.
I don't remember.
Always a critic, aren't you? Anyway, we've got a mystery to attend to, so fluff up that seersucker suit, grab your garlic to go, and hang tight. Things are about to get bloodier, weirder, and so full of retro polyester, you'll think you're trapped in Dracula's disco.
Does that surprise you? Look, Carl, you're not the only one that likes to play detective. The police, the sheriff boys, they all think they're pretty good. And they don't need you.
You know, you really make me feel wanted. We've had 3 murders in town, Bernie. We have one tremendously strong guy, maybe more, who goes around killing young girls. And they all lost a lot of blood.
Hey, you weren't supposed to know about that.
No, I'm not supposed to know about that. But I know it. What about you people down at the Bureau?
No, this is nothing for the Bureau to mess with at this stage.
Yeah, well, you could make some unofficial inquiries for me.
Like?
Well, like you could check around the country and check all the hospitals and see if any of them have had corpses recently, like ours, you know, all with a big loss of blood. You could check all the insane asylums across the country, the bug houses, see if they released recently a nut who thinks he's Count Dracula, even if he's done nothing to prove it.
Do you believe in vampires, little boy?
Oh, that's funny. That's very funny. It's very funny, Bertie. Haha. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit there like a cheap goner guzzling my beer?
I'll think about it, okay? Meanwhile, I hope it doesn't disillusion you to know that the local law enforcement people go along with your views.
Oh?
Somewhat. At this moment, they're waiting for a special report from the coroner and 2 pathology experts who were flown up from LAPD.
Oh, yeah?
Along with a small truckload of equipment.
Yeah? Oh, hi, Marilyn. How are you?
Hey, I like your luncheon place.
Yeah.
Well, say, if you want to hear the special report, meet me at the sheriff's office. Starts at 6:30.
Hey, thanks.
Don't thank me, just be there.
Where you go? Oh. Call, Jack.
Hi, Carl. I just thought you'd like to know I heard the Parkway Hospital was knocked over.
Yeah, knocked over for what? Cash, drugs, equipment, what? Blood?
That's right. Every container in the place. Their entire stock.
What about blood type?
Seems blood type and RH factor didn't much matter.
John?
Can't stop now. See you.
Yeah, but... p.m., Clark County Courthouse. Present, in addition to myself and 2 incompetents who called themselves reporters, were Warren Butcher of the Sheriff's Office, Thomas Payne of the District Attorney's Office, Captain Edward Masterson of the Las Vegas Police Department, and old buddy Bernie Jenks, holding forth with his inimitable cool, Dr. Robert McCurgy, boy coroner.
We found that death in each case was extremely swift, coming in something less than a minute. After the initial wounds were inflicted, the blood was drained very quickly, some kind of suction device being used. Now, this would explain why no blood was found anywhere in the victims or in the areas they were discovered.
Doctor, Cold Shack Daily News, do you have any idea what could have made these wounds?
They're not unlike the bite of a medium-sized dog.
What do you mean, dog? What? Dog. What are you telling us? A dog did these murders?
I didn't mean to indicate that the wounds were actually inflicted by a dog, only that they're similar to those which might be caused by a dog. A rather interesting point is that we found another substance mixed in with the traces of blood in the throat wounds, namely saliva.
What do you mean, saliva?
I mean saliva, Sheriff Butcher. Human saliva.
If McCurgy had suggested that the murders were committed by a giant butterfly, he couldn't have made more sparks.
Now, what do you mean human? Are you suggesting that each of these women was bitten in the throat by a man?
At present, the evidence points that way. However, I couldn't and wouldn't hazard a guess as to motivation. I can only be sure they each died from shock, induced by massive loss of blood.
Dr. McCurdy, is it possible that he killed these women by biting them in the throat for the express purpose of drinking their blood?
Kolchak, now you're here by the mutual suffrage of us all.
Sufferance.
What?
It's sufferance, Sheriff.
Well, whatever it is, just shut up.
I'll answer that. There have been cases of people who, through some mental derangement, have come to believe they were vampires. In Germany in the 1920s, there was one fellow who did use his teeth to rip out his victims'
Now, we
throats.
are not going to jump to any conclusions about who or what killed these women.
It is possible, you know, to type a person's blood from his saliva. If I were you, gentlemen, I'd look for a very anemic fellow, possibly with some rare blood disease.
Well, I don't care what kind of a nut killed these women. But I'll tell you this, he's out there, and I bet he's high on pot or the hard stuff, and he's going to kill again unless he's stopped. Masterson, what have your people got on this Parkway blood theft?
Well, the latest is the nurse said she saw something funny out there last night, or early this morning. Seems that a tall, skinny guy dressed as an orderly was nosing around the refrigerated storage area. That's where they keep the blood and the plasma. She didn't think much of it then, but later when she spoke about the guy to the floor super, she was told that there was no such tall, skinny guy on duty there. Description as follows. White male adult, 6'2" to 6'4", thin, about 175 pounds with pale complexion, dark hair.
So we start looking for a man, local resident, or worse yet, some outsider who may not even still be in the area. We'll check the airport, the bus terminal, railroad station, blockade the highways, and if we're lucky, we'll get him. If he's stupid enough to still be hanging around after 3 crimes. Now, you got any other suggestions?
Just do it. All right, let's break this up. Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Doctor.
Mr. Payne, I shouldn't be too inclined to reject Mr. Kolchak's theory out of hand if I were you. It is at best highly speculative, but not altogether unwarranted.
Kolchak, you can throw away that cassette. Now, this vampire stuff is to stay right in this room. Until we have the assailant in custody, we say nothing about these women being drained of blood. There'll be no rumors, no reports in the paper. The official opinion at this time is that the cause of death is undetermined. We don't want to cause a panic. It's bad for police operations. It's bad for the people. And it's bad for business. Thank you for your cooperation. Kolchak, I want to have a talk with you.
Now, boys, there's no reason to bother the doctor anymore. I have a prepared statement in my office. You can go back to the lab.
Kolchak, you're becoming a real pest. I'll have to have a word or two with Vincenzo about you. You know, maybe one of the other boys at the office should handle this from here on. Keep your nose clean, son. Stay out of other people's business. It's healthier that way.
Carl, will you watch what you're saying? You know these guys. You could find yourself out of a job in 86 all over town.
That go for you too, Jenks?
Oh, boy, who can talk to you when you get like this? Now, listen, I'll nose around unofficially for you on anything you bring me, just between the two of us. But do me a favor and stay away from me for a few days, just for friendship's sake.
Did I say it was a vampire?
Well, what does your suggested headline say?
The story makes it clear.
Vampire killer in Las Vegas, question mark. Do I misread?
The story makes it clear.
Do I misread, or did you use the word vampire?
Some screwball who imagines he's a vampire is loose in Las Vegas, and people ought to be told.
If there's a screwball running around loose in Las Vegas, his last name begins with a K. You already heard about the little scene you have with the boys downtown. No vampire stories. Clear?
about a special featurette with a border of roses? An interview with the 2 girl victims in heaven with a celestial choir in the background.
And how about you're watching Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror.
And you're watching Sally the School Leader Cheerleaders. Sally the Zombie School Leaders.
Sally the Zombie Cheerleaders.
Okay, you're watching Zombie the Sally Cheer Goons. Wait, City.
Sally the... Well, Skelly Cat, Kolchak is stirring the pot like it's zombie chill night and no one wants a second helping. Oh, and just like that, presto, another victim pops up. Same MO, same suspicious authorities giving their best impression of see no fangs, hear no hissing. And Kolchak's all hello. Did we all just forget about the vampire-sized bite marks, or are we calling that aggressive dental hygiene now?
That is Sally. Who bites the baby?
Exactly. You know, you'd make a great forensics kitty.
Thank you, Sally.
So there's a blood bandit on the loose in Vegas. I mean, it's obvious it's a vamp, but those fleshies can't or don't want to believe it. And those fangy drama queens spend more time striking poses than chasing prey.
Hey, Sally, if there were zombies on the prowl.
I mean, if it was a zombie, well, we may shuffle, but we get there eventually, and we don't need to sparkle or brood about it. We just slay, stumble, and snack. Style is optional, brains are not. Welcome back to Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror, and I hope you're enjoying the Night Stalker. If not, well, too bad. You're already cursed by the VHS spirit and probably on a government watch list for knowing too much about fangs and fashion. Now, things are heating up in Vegas, and Kolchak's poking his polyester-clad nose where the sun don't shine, namely into a vampire cover-up thicker than my Aunt Morgatha's graveyard cobbler. The cops, well, they're clueless. The politicians, sweating like a ghoul in gym class. They don't want this whole vampire in Vegas thing going public. Well, it's bad for tourism and worse for re-election. So what do? They threaten Kolchak with unemployment. Like, that's even scary at this point. I mean, the man's been fired more times than a cursed cannon at a ghastly Civil War reenactment. But will he stop? No way, fleshies! Kolchak's got a tape recorder, a rumpled seersucker suit, and a burning desire to get the truth, or get bit trying.
Hey, Sally, if you need a vampire's advice, our good old buddy Vlad can help you.
Yeah, he's got a stake in the film, too.
Yeah, he's emotionally invested like a vampire in a blood drive.
Ha ha ha! You know, you two are more rotten than my last prom date, and he was decomposing while we danced. Now cut that out. You know, I'm going to wind up revoking your zombie lair portal passes. I mean it. Anyway, back to the seersucker sleuthing and vampire villains with zero chill.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I fell asleep. What were you saying?
You know, you do great things for my masculine ego, you know? Yeah. Well, actually, I was saying that I think that Vincenzo has a new sense of a tree stump. It's got to be one man. It's got to be. Big, strong, psychotic.
Well, you're certainly making me very glad that I work nights.
Oh, well, I told you to quit working nights, didn't I? Kolchak. I am forever in your debt, love.
What was that?
The killer's done it again.
Oh, no.
Only this time, he was seen.
Standing over there. I thought he was kissing her. And then he turned and she fell down over there by the car. He must have followed her home. sorry. I can't.
Victim number 4. Mary Brandon, showgirl, 25, 5 feet 8 inches tall, 125 luscious pounds. Less the weight of 12 pints of blood, of course.
Well, looks like Bela Lugosi's struck again.
Knock it off. It's her daughter.
Oops.
I'm all right now.
Now, the car he drove away in, was it new?
No. It was a few years old, I think. It was a maroon coupe.
I'll call it in.
Barney, may I,
Yeah, but take it easy.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Cold Shack, the Daily News. That was your daughter?
My best contact in Las Vegas has always been Helen O'Brien, chief switchboard operator at the county courthouse.
Oh, adorable.
You're a sadist.
Well, I could take it back.
Over my dead, plump body.
Listen, you magnificent morsel. The DMV is checking on the suspect's car. Now, you couldn't help me in that area, could you?
Of course not. Bribed again.
Call check.
No, Bertie.
Come on.
How'd you like to see the killer's face?
Sherman Duffy of the Chicago Globe once described a reporter as follows. Socially, he fits in somewhere between a hooker and a bartender. Spiritually, he stands beside Galileo because he knows the world is round. Not that it does much good, of course, when his editor knows it's flat.
Cold Shack. Shelley Forbes has got to be his 5th victim. Look at the way her dog was killed.
You'll never give up, do you?
What do you mean?
I mean, this is unacceptable.
Unacceptable?
Cold Shack, I'm very close to firing you. Even though the owner of this paper has a soft spot in his head for has-been big city reporters. I am tired of your pressure, Cold Shack. I'm tired of the owner's pressure. I'm tired of the pressure from all around me to blow the story up on the one hand and keep it under wraps on the other. I am tired of being the middleman, Cold Shack. Do you understand that? Can you understand that?
What do you want, Vincenzo? A testimonial from Count Dracula?
Out! Get out! What is this out, get out game we play? This nut thinks he is a vampire. He has killed 4, maybe 5 women. He has drained every drop of blood from every one of them. Now, that is news, Vincenzo. News. And we are a news paper. We are supposed to print news, not suppress it.
You know darn well why we're soft peddling this thing.
No! Tell me why. Could it be because we have been told to?
Cold Shack, you are an idiot. Worse, you're irresponsible. All these murders mean to you is a byline.
Well, what the hell difference does it matter what it means to me?
The point is that we are suppressing news. We are withholding information. Everybody in town knows what's going on. The police, the DA, the coroner's office, every reporter on every newspaper in Las Vegas knows what's going on. The only people who don't know are the people.
At last, you got the point, Kolchak. The people in Las Vegas don't know. Because the people in Las Vegas would come unglued if they did know. Even more than they're coming unglued already. Capiche?
Tuesday, May 25th, 7:30 p.m. Helen O'Brien had told me that the DMV had come up with 16 possibles. All but one had been eliminated. The car owner's name, Martin Lubin. Address on Spring Mountain Road. Name and address, both phony. Name of salesman who sold car, Fred Hurley.
So I sets him a price. He don't say nothing. He just stands there looking at me.
All right, now how'd you find out about this, Kolchak?
Well, a fat little bird told me about it.
Now
Don't
you
stop
just
on my account.
keep your mouth shut.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, like I said, he just stands there looking at me. Then he tells me the price is too high. $300 too high. And he keeps staring at me as if daring me to tell him the price is $1,200.
Is this fella?
Now stop doing our job for us, Kolchak. That's already been established.
Yeah, well, you see, I told him only he had a mustache.
Mustache? Yeah. Did you sell him the car?
Well, I started to say no. But something inside tells me, don't mess with this guy. I mean, he's a creep. With them red eyes and that voice, he's enough to keep a guy from working nights.
All my life I've waited for a story like this. All my life. And when it finally comes, I can't get it printed. Do you know, the holes in Mary Brandon's neck were airbrushed out before they printed the photographs? Yeah.
Carl, if you keep going on like this, you're going to get fired again. Let's see, how many times has it been? Twice in Washington, 3 times in New York, twice in Chicago, and once, or was it twice in Boston? Huh.
I'm becoming extinct in my own lifetime. Homo nous hocus, natural habitat, a pool of sour mash bourbon. You know, I really ought to light a candle to Ben Heck.
Here.
You ought to quit your job, you know.
And you'll support me?
Well, Oh, come on, honey, I'm serious. That weirdo's hit 5 girls, and they were all night workers.
5?
Yeah, 5.
Oh.
Yeah, a girl named Shelley Forbes is missing, and I'll bet my bottom dollar she's victim number 5. Hey, you know, you are in the shirt pretty good there.
Carl, I've been doing some thinking. Oh, what do you know about vampires?
Well, only they wear dinner suits and talk with marbles in their mouth.
Oh, will you please be serious?
Watch my natural habitat, darling.
Open it.
Oh. Everything you always want to know about vampires, but we're afraid to ask.
No, you're going to look at it.
Come on, why?
Well, what if the killer's a real vampire?
Oh, honey, please. I've had a very
He's done
long
everything
week.
that's in this book.
Whoopee.
You're going to read it.
Yes, all right. I'm going to read it. Ooh. Ah.
Oh, now, come on. You're a big, tough reporter. You can take it. You might even get a good feature article out of it.
That's it. Oh, yeah. Since the beginning of man's existence, there have been creatures of the night, crazed monsters that track the bloody prints through the pages of fact and fiction. Of them all, the vampire seems to have accumulated the largest body of documentation. By night, the vampire is virtually indestructible, fearing only the sign of the cross. Before daybreak, he must return to his coffin, otherwise he will be destroyed by the purifying rays of the sun. It is then, while he lies dormant, he can be destroyed by hammering a wooden stake through his heart.
I'm gonna do one more. You're watching Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror.
Okay.
Wait a second.
I'll get out for that one.
Talk me through that again.
Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror.
Everyone struggles with it.
Sally.
Okay.
Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror.
Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror. Excellent piece of cake.
I'm the Count Gordival, and I'm going back to school. Yes, I've got to learn a little bit more about horror, and who's going to teach me? But Sally the Zombie Cheerleader, she's got the School of Horror. And, you know, you got to go to the best to learn the real stuff. Right? Right. All right, fill in the form.
Cake suggestions. You know, the kind of cakes that stick to your ribs and fingers and toes and, oh, I love cream-filled fleshies. It's kind of like biting into a Cadbury. What? Oh, hey, my little fleshy fiends. You're back from the film break. And so soon. Welcome back to Sally the Zombie Cheerleader School of Horror. Well, I hope you didn't hear too much. I mean, you've been properly spooked and moderately confused, just like me. Anyway, Kolchak better dust off his resume, polish up that typewriter, and maybe learn to make a mean graveyard latte, because the only thing he might be hunting now is a new job or the closest unemployment line. And cakes. Don't worry, I'd never suggest throwing a carrot cake. Well, maybe a coconut cake. I don't like the texture, but it'll sure look good on the wall.
Hey, Sally, if you are in the mood to make a cake, you should join us for the Great Devilish Bake-Off. Yeah, you get to cook yourself in a furnace until well done, again and again. Sorry, Sally, no one will want those leftovers.
Hey, stop that. You know, I'm not going to get all hot under the collar about your remarks this time. You're just trying to baste me. I mean, taste me. I mean, I'm not going to listen to you anymore.
Maybe a cake's a heart favorite heartburn. Hey, zombies are not a cake treat. Yeah.
Oh, come on, don't you start too. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the Night Stalker. Well, you know, we find Kolchak counting on his fingers and toes how many times he's lost the job, and his vampire hunting might just lead him to another pink slip surprise. Now, there are more deaths, more denials, and more lies than a haunted politician's diary. And of course, Kolchak's got theories. Vampires, possibly cake cults, or maybe a bloodthirsty Vegas magician with a serious iron deficiency and a taste for drama. Now the cops say Kolchak's off his rocker. His editor says he's about to get canned again, and I haven't seen someone lose jobs this fast since Frankenstein's monster tried babysitting.
Now throw a kiss and say bye-bye. Oh dear, nothing left. What shall we throw in now?
And if that doesn't make you bite your nails, or your neighbors, stick around because this vampire mystery is just warming up its fangs and flexing its cape. And don't even think about leaving your crypt now because it's only going to get juicier, bloodier, and way weirder. Let's get back to the Night Stalker.
According to the legend, the victim of the vampire will ultimately rise again as the living dead and must be destroyed in a similar manner. From any source available, the vampire must have blood.
He's in there.
I was doing double duty as night editor when the PD squawk box went crazy about a wild brawl at the old town hospital. Thursday, May 27th, 8:20 a.m., and things were rolling. Our morning edition hit the streets, recapping all the action at the hospital. The TV people, as usual, had missed out completely, and the radio stations were literally reading our copy on the air. But now the whole lid was really blown off. The maniac had been identified.
Sorry I'm late. I just got these out of the suit. Yeah.
Now, here's a rundown on the Scotland Yard and the Interpol findings. Subject, Janos Skorzny. Born in Craiesti, Romania, 1899.
Now, wait just a minute. You trying to tell me this guy's over 70 years old? Come on, Bernie, your boys have come up with a wrong man.
Like hell we have. These facts have been triple-checked and confirmed. Now, look, I've been up all night, and I'm pretty tired. Now, do you want it or don't you?
All right, Bernie, just take it easy. Let's hear it.
All right. Skorzny's father died in 1923. He left somewhere between $75 and $100 million. At this time, he began to travel, and he became known throughout Eastern Europe as a big lover of nightlife. Now, we don't have a lot more on him before World War II. However, Scotland Yard reports that he showed up in England just in time for the German Blitz. I'm sure Mr. Kolchak will find the following facts of interest.
Such formality from a man who always guzzles my beer.
While in England, he passed himself off as Dr. Paul Belasco, specialist in hematology research. His work involved freshly killed air raid victims from various London emergency rooms. As a matter of fact, at his residence in Shafto Court, he installed several kinds of sumps, tubs, and an extremely large commercial meat freezer. In 1948, he turned up in Canada still as Dr. Belasco. And further checking made his presence known in almost every place along the U.S.-Canadian border where rioting and violence and a number of dead bodies were found. We believe he left Canada for Vegas April 19th under the name of Detective Constable Alan Hensley. Now, because of his British citizenship, he is an international fugitive. So my people are very interested in it. This is no longer just a local matter. Now, gentlemen, the one constant that has shown up in all of our reports is that Skorzny's travels have always been accompanied by a number of unexplained killings, many of which have one thing in common: a massive loss of blood. So, if Skorzny is not the vampire of Mr. Kolchak's theories, he is certainly the suspect of multiple homicides extending back some 30 years.
Mr. Jenks, you seem to be running this show. Could I have a minute to say something?
Mr. Kolchak, you have the floor.
Kolchak, you keep it short.
I was at the hospital yesterday, and a lot of things were happening that you just simply cannot explain away. Sheriff, your own men shot at him, some at point-blank range. How come didn't even slow him down? How come a man over 70 years old can outrun a police car? How come this same man, when slugged in the head, doesn't even bleed? Now, I saw those gashes in his head, and whatever was trickling down from those wounds, it was clear. It was
now, this
not
guy's
blood.
got a motor mouth. Can't we shut him up? No, let him hang himself. Then we'll finally be rid of him.
So far, he has killed 4, probably 5 women. Now, the coroner said that those bite marks on the throat were made by human teeth. He practically confirmed the fact that he actually drank their blood. Now, wait, now, whatever the Skorzny may be, he seemed to be functioning as if he were a vampire. Now, you can go on operating as if he were an ordinary man. That's up to you. But I know that the only way you're going to get him is if you proceed under the assumption that he's a real live vampire. Now, the research that I've been able to find...
Wait a minute, Kolchak, have you lost your mind? Can you imagine the total blind panic this town would be in if the public were told we were actually looking for a vampire? Not to mention the irreparable damage it would do to the image of law enforcement in Vegas.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? That's it. Boy, I really can't believe that you guys are so afraid of appearing stupid that you'll ignore the only possible way of nailing him.
You listen, Kolchak, and you listen good. We'll handle this by ourselves, and without undue public observation.
No undue public observation. You've blown it already. Look here. Look what's appeared in my paper today. People are going to be calling for a grand jury investigation. You can't stop the rumors. They're all over.
Sit down.
I don't care what's been printed in the newspapers. This man is still classified as an ordinary maniac, and he'll be settled by standard police procedures.
Oh, boy.
And you better start cooperating with that fat Kolchak, or you want to get your pushy-tushy kicked right out of town. You dig?
Yes, sir, I dig. But just remember, the next time you blow it, who's got the answers, sir?
All right, Ed. Let's get on with it. What have you got?
Well, 2 departments combined have 650 men on full-time duty. All leaves are canceled, and everyone's working a 16-hour day. Our chopper is going from dusk to dawn. We've got unmarked cars patrolling the casino center and the strip. All roads are blocked, and we're receiving complete cooperation from the highway patrol and the Jeep posse.
You got it?
Got it.
Repeat. What did I say?
Show every real estate agent in town a picture of this guy's puss and ask them if they sold a house to anybody that looks like him.
Good boy, you got it. Now get going.
Now, wait a minute. When did I lose this last dollar?
Mickey, has the idea of winning ever occurred to you? Oh, boy.
You spoke.
You know, I have a very strange, unhappy feeling that the police are never going to catch his murderer. I also have another very unhappy feeling.
Which is?
That this case may be even bigger than I thought it was.
Bigger?
Well, stranger than. I've seen a lot of weird things in my life, love. I have never, ever seen anything like this.
You don't tell me that you're finally going to believe?
I don't even want to think about it. I'm Darren McGavin. 200 years ago today, in the dark of night, small boats headed for a 12-acre island in Manhattan's harbor, which loyalists were using for a refuge. Lookouts had reported that men from British warships were fortifying the place, possibly as a jumping-off point for an attack on the city. Major William D. Hart and 200 American soldiers landed on the island soon after midnight. They found only 60 loyalist women and children. The men had escaped to British ships lying offshore. The frightened refugees weren't hurt, but raiders burned the buildings that had sheltered them. Now, that island in New York Harbor would no longer serve as a way station for refugees from America. But years later, it would welcome those coming in. They'd know it as Bedloe's Island, site of the Statue of Liberty. I'm Darren McGavin, and that's the way it was.
These historic minutes are sponsored each night by Shell. This is CBS.
Now here's a lunch with real goodness.
Look at this is cooking, it's a lunch.
Here's a delicious lunch special from the Colonel. 2 pieces of finger-licking good chicken, mashed potatoes and gravy, coleslaw, a buttered cob of corn, and a roll, all for under $1.60. Only where you see the lunch special banner. Until April 11th, 11 to 2 p.m. daily.
Come to the people you know you can trust. Real goodness from Kentucky Fried Chicken. Cost of living got you down.
Prices are so high, I take a ladder to go shopping.
Cost of living got you down.
Money used to burn a hole in my pocket. Now it isn't even there long enough to get warm.
There's one bargain left in town.
Campbell's Soups. Try chicken with rice. Best parts of the chicken, fluffy rice, and 2 chicken stocks for extra flavor. About 6 cents a 7-ounce serving.
Sit right down and get your Campbell's worth.
Now it's time for Sally's Cool Ghoul Art, submitted by her faithful fleshy fans.
The Night Stalker. Next on Scream.
Kolchak is on the trail of 2 serial killers.
Kids are dropping dead on the campus.
We're dealing with psychotics here.
No, really. What sane person cuts out human hearts?
The police want him out of the way.
You want to take another trip in the police car, Kolchak?
And the killers want him dead.
I turned around and there was a great big red and yellow chicken.
I can dig it. All these out-of-towners are going to get the impression that Chicago's filled with nuts.
Darren McGavin is Kolchak, the Night Stalker. In Demon and the Mummy. Next.
Don't be scared. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Biffle, here's the super sweet new cereal, Frankenberry.
But I've got chocolate sweeties for monstrous chocolate flavor.
Well, I got berry-flavored sweeties for monstrous strawberry flavor.
Count Chocula.
Frankenberry.
Hi.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
In this modern age, too many people have lost sight of the true meaning of Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
So now, in the spirit of the original, traditional American Christmas, MGM presents
Me to you.
the movie that sends up Santa Claus.
Mom, hush.
Shut up, Ralphie! A Christmas Story, rated PG.
Starts Friday at select area theaters.
All units. Janos Skorzeny, spotted in 1969. Green unpaneled station wagon. Intersection OK and Hustles. ID confirmed. Positive visual contact made. Units 7 and 8, seal off. Rexford and Hustles and OK. Repeat, units 7 and 8. Unit 3, close off Park Paseo, Las Vegas Boulevard. Units 4, 6, move north to base Unit 3 at Park Paseo and 5th. Unit 5, move up to Bracken, to 5th place, all units.
Get up. Slowly.
He's pulling the cameras down.
Friday, May 28, 3:17 a.m. Despite the helicopters, the highway patrol, the Jeep posse, despite the blocking of every major road and highway, despite the mass coverage of Las Vegas by every available man in both police and sheriff departments, Janos Skorzeny was still at large. The courthouse conference room had been a scene of chaos for more than 3 hours now. Messages were still flooding in from every outside unit. Every available man who had taken place in the capture attempt was being debriefed. At the hospital, 2 officers had died and a third was hovering on the edge. Reports on them were still coming in as the greatest manhunt in the history of Las Vegas continued in vain.
Oh, thanks, Bernie. Yeah. Well, what are we going to do?
Now, are you willing to listen to my insane ideas?
Kolchak, get out of here. Warren, hold it. Kolchak, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah?
Every man we've questioned insists not only that Skorzeny was possessed of incredible strength, but that he was shot more than once during the capture attempt.
Oh, I'd say it 30, 40 times.
I'm sorry, I'm not buying that.
Captain, you have 2 choices. Either he was shot, or your entire police department is blind.
Ed, let's admit it. We had the man, had him cornered, and we couldn't hold him. Let Kolchak have his say.
Before I do, is it agreed that in return for my help, you will grant me the exclusive rights to the entire story?
Well, let's say it's agreeable if we decide to follow your suggestions regarding the suspect.
Fine, because if you don't follow my suggestions, you're going to be chasing your suspect till doomsday.
Kolchak, just get on with it.
Of course. Each man in the field is to be issued one of these, to be carried in his pocket. This gentleman...
Where'd you get that?
Well, I have a friend who's got a furniture repair store. I woke him up and had him make it. Each man in the field is to be issued one of these and one of these.
Are you suggesting that we pound one of these into Skorzeny's chest?
No, into his heart.
There's a legal phrase for that, Kolchak. You might have run into it once or twice in your broad experience. It's called premeditated murder.
It's the only way you're going to stop him. You heard your own men. Can they all be wrong? Oh, you can stop your nighttime chases from now on, too, gentlemen. The only hope you have is to spot Skorzeny and then track him back to where he lives and wait until sunrise before finishing him off. He's only vulnerable during the day. At night, he's much too strong. Yes, gentlemen, I hate to say this, but it looks as if we have a real live vampire on our hands.
Ed.
Yes, sir.
Warren.
Yeah. Tom, I'd like to be in on this, too.
Okay, Kolchak, you've got yourself a deal. Conditional.
What's that?
Butcher here will issue the crosses, the mallets, the stakes. The one thing he won't do is depart from established police procedures. If feasible, Skorzeny is to be taken alive and held for trial.
Trial?
That's right, trial. Trial.
All right. In return for what?
You'll get the exclusive rights of the story.
Good.
When the blackout is lifted.
Yeah. Any other conditions?
One more.
What's that?
If it turns out you were wrong, you're to be out of town in 12 hours. Take it or leave it.
All right, I'll take it. Because I know I'm right. And you know I'm right. Right.
Watch out!
I'll take Manhattan, the Bronx and Staten Island, too. Watch out, you great big wonderful Big Apple. Kolchak's coming back. Yeah! There's Manhattan's coming here. Wait till I get to land.
It's me, Crawford! What are you doing driving off with me in the back seat?
What are you doing in my back seat?
I wanted to talk to you. I saw your car parked here, so I got in to wait for you, and I got sleepy.
You got sleepy.
Hey, I think I found the house.
Hey everybody, this is Steve Uncle Creepy Barton, and you're watching Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror. And you better listen to what she has to say, or else I'm coming for you.
All right, fleshies, let's see if Sally can keep the hat on. Kolchak is armed with fax fangs and a whole lot of frustration, plus a crinkly suit and the simmering rage of someone who's been ghosted by 5 editors and a vampire. Now Kolchak confronts an angry DA and a grumbling chief of police. Kolchak demands that the cops start packing stakes, mallets, and crucifixes, as if it's Monsterpalooza Prep 101. The DA scoffs, the cops snicker, and everyone screams Kolchak is crazy, but they agree to Kolchak's terms anyway. Now, if Kolchak is wrong about this vampy infestation in Sin City, he is told in no uncertain terms, pack your pork pie hat and get out of Vegas, because nothing says welcome to Vegas like vampire denial and a passive-aggressive pink slip.
Hey, Sally, it sounds like the whole city is in denial. Yeah, like Sally on laundry day. Wait, Sally has a laundry day?
Hey, stop that, and Crypt Dust builds character. Oh hey, you're back, and I hope you're enjoying the Night Stalker. Welcome back to Sally the Zombie Cheerleader School of Horror. And did you know that at the time of its original airing on January 11th, 1972, it was the most widely viewed TV movie with a 33.2 rating and a 54% share. And I don't know what that means, but I'm sure that's a lot of fleshy eyeballs on their TV sets.
Check out on more fleshy eyeballs in a hot updated convention.
Right? Oh, and did you know that a planned 3rd installment in the franchise, The Night Killers, was all set to be made, but instead of giving us Kolchak versus Android Elvis in a Hawaiian shirt, ABC said, let's make it a series instead. In the unmade movie, Kolchak would have been hired by his editor Tony Vincenzo again to work in Honolulu. Now once there, he would stumble upon a wacko conspiracy theory complete with UFOs, a nuclear power plant, and VIPs getting replaced with androids. I mean, come on. Robot imposters, beach horror, and Kolchak dodging both coconuts and cover-ups? Yes, please! Sadly, the movie got scrapped in favor of the series, which only lasted 1 season. About 20 episodes, I believe. Now, of course, still worth a watch, but wouldn't it have been gravelicious to see The Night Killers first and then the series? Just imagine Kolchak fighting metallic doppelgangers while sipping on undead pina coladas. You know, I could totally go for an undead drink right now. Maybe a Bloody Mary, extra chunky. Or better yet, a brain smoothie with a twist of spleen.
Daddy?
Yes, Skelly Cat. Look, I'm parched enough to lick the condensation off of Mummy's tomb.
Daddy, you got the palate of a garbage coal or spring break. Ew.
Okay, fine. I meant to say, I would kill for a tall glass of warm water. Anyway, all right, my gory little gumdrops, tighten your tomb laces and fluff your coffin pillows, because the chills, thrills, and undead spills aren't done yet. Grab that garlic popcorn, shush the zombies in the back row, and let's claw our way back into the Night Stalker.
I told Crocker to give me 30 minutes before telling Jenks where I was. That way I could get to see the house alone for a while and also keep the police from arriving before dawn, which I knew they'd do if they got the chance, no matter what I told them.
chilly forms. Shh, relax, son.
His own private blood bank. Wow. Hold still. It won't stick.
All right.
Okay. And you're watching Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of...
That's easy
Horror.
for you to say.
Excellent.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Skelly Cat, I can't believe the hat is still staying on my head. Well, you don't have that trouble, I do. Anyway, now Kolchak breaks into the vampire's not-so-humble haunted hideout, creeping through the shadows like a brain-thirsty ghoul on the prowl. He snoops, he shuffles, he shatters a few dishes like he's testing vampire-grade china. And what does he find? Well, a personal fang-fueled fleshy snack, tucked away like a midnight treat in the fridge. And let me tell you, this vampire has a taste for Vine, the 98.6 degree version.
Hey, Sally, did you know Skelly Cat is our #1 provider of souls? Yeah, give it a silly straw and it'll slurp your soul like it's a brain-flavored milkshake at a haunted diner. Just watch out for the soul freeze.
Stop that! Wait, you have brain-flavored smoothies? How do you keep them so cold down there?
No, that's just the natural temperature of despair and unfinished business. Works better than a mini-fridge.
Yeah, fine, whatever. Oh, hey there, it's your moldiest majorette, Sally the Zombie Cheerleader, shambling back to my school of horror like a ghoul late for gym class. Now, the show's almost wrapped up tighter than a mummy's mixtape, but hold on to your sticks, sugar plums. The epic throwdown between Kolchak and Count Bitey McCreeperson, aka Scorzeni, is still looming like a bad cafeteria meatloaf. And speaking of meatloaf, why do vampires only drink the blood of their fleshy victims? I mean, they leave the best part behind.
Right? It's like ordering ribs and cutting up the meat so you can dip on a barbecue sauce.
Oh, come on, I'm just asking for a friend. A really undead, hangry friend. Anyway, vampires leave people jerky. It's just a waste of good fleshy, I tell you.
Hey, I'm not here for a phone talking. I don't care.
Fine, but before we start gnawing on the fleshy-flavored popcorn bag, let's shuffle our bony behinds back to the final act of the Night Stalker. Trust me, fleshies, you don't want to miss this final bite.
Oh, hello there. I'm Count Gordon Duval, and I doing my homework. Why do I have homework? I signed up for Sally the Zombie Cheerleader School of Horror, and she is quite the taskmaster. Find out for yourself at your own risk. Oh, come on, you're kidding. Hey.
You think they'll print it?
I know they will. We've got an agreement.
Hey, you look kind of tired. Do you want me to drive you to the office?
Go on, hush your bag. Yeah, but I want to finish this in time for the special edition. Hey, why don't you stop working nights
Oh, Carl, not that again.
and marry me? Yeah, well, you're a good cooker and a good kisser. Why not? Oh, baby, you're gonna love New York City. Honey, after this story hits the news services with my byline...
Oh, us married?
Yes, us married! Don't look now, baby. But Old Shack's coming back in style. There you are, Vincenzo. And if I do say so myself, it's sensational.
I'm sure it is, Carl.
You're going to put it in the special edition?
Right.
Yeah, with pictures.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and the new services.
Okay, fine.
What's got into you, Vincenzo? You sick or something?
I think this is all fine, Carl. Fine. Jenks has been trying to reach you.
Yeah, what do you want?
He wants to see you over at the DA's office. Why don't you run over there now?
Yeah.
Call Jack. You're one hell of a reporter.
Thank you, sir. And a bright good morning to all of you. Bernie, what did you,
Is your name Carl Kolchak, and do you reside in the city of Las Vegas?
Well, you know my name's Carl Kolchak. What's going on?
Carl Kolchak, you're under arrest on the charge of murder. The state requires that you be informed that you have the right to remain silent.
No. Oh, no. No chance. You're not going to pull that one on me. No.
Kolchak! You are under arrest.
All right, Payne, just what kind of a dirty deal is this?
You have a very short memory, Kolchak. A few hours ago, Sheriff Butcher himself saw you actually pound a wooden stake through a man's heart with this mallet. A man wanted for questioning. Questioning, mind you. He hadn't been arrested. He hadn't even been charged.
You broke up our stakeout, and after we were kind enough to invite you to go along, you just charged in there in front of us and killed Janos Skorzeny before we had a chance to do anything. Well, you were even ranting and raving about this Skorzeny being some kind of a vampire, and you had to save the world.
And that, Mr. Kolchak, is murder one. Now, if you plead insanity, you might get lucky, but I promise you this. You'll be committed to an asylum for the rest of your life.
I pull your fat out of the fire, and you do this.
Carl, will you just sit down a minute and listen to them?
Bernie, you were there!
Carl, just listen.
This is your story, Kolchak. It's already being printed. This morning, shortly before sunrise, Las Vegas sheriff deputies under the command of Sheriff Warren A. Butcher, 45, surrounded the home of Janos Skorzeny, a fugitive from a federal warrant, and in a pitch-gun battle were forced to kill him.
Never. You'll never get away with it. What's to stop me?
You're gonna stop yourself, Kolchak. Because if you open your mouth, we'll find you, bring you back, use this warrant, and put you away forever. Pick him up, Kolchak. Pick him up and get out of town. Now, we'll take care of your back rent.
I want to call Gail.
She's not there, Carl.
What have you done with her?
Nothing. We just asked the young lady if she'd be good enough to leave town.
She's an undesirable element, Kolchak, and we don't want undesirable elements in Las Vegas.
Carl, there's nothing I can do. Carl, you let me know where you end up, huh?
Yeah, sure, Bernie. I'll keep in touch. So all the loose ends had been gathered together and tied into a pretty knot right around the neck of guess who. After I left town, I began putting notices in the personal columns of newspapers from San Francisco to St. Louis. Until I ran out of money, that is. So far, I've received no answers, but I'll keep trying, even though I don't think I'll ever find Gail Foster again. Maybe it's just as well. So that's it. The book's finished, and now you'll have to judge for yourself. I must warn you, however, if you try to verify this account, you will find it quite impossible. Item, in Washington, D.C., there was no longer a file listing the suspect under his true name or any of his alleged aliases. Item, in Las Vegas, all of those who were involved have either left town, aren't talking, or are dead. I haven't had a decent night's sleep since all this happened. And now you might find it difficult, too, because there is still one fact that cannot be buried. After the death of Janos Skorzeny, he and all of his victims were immediately cremated. Why? Remember the legend? All those who die from the bite of the vampire will return as a vampire, unless destroyed first. So think about it and try to tell yourself, wherever you may be, in the quiet of your home, in the safety of your bed, try to tell yourself, it couldn't happen here.
China. They ask us to take you into custody. He's a very special kind of Chinaman. He walks through walls. You won't hear him, see him, or touch him.
I'll touch him. What will you do?
Work.
Wander. Rest when I can. They all know you are here in America. They will search you out.
Then let them find me.
Each month, ABC Television presents David Carradine in Kung Fu.
Remember what it was like before there was somebody else up there who loved you? There was no such thing as executive class service to Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. With first-class leg room, free cocktails for everyone, and a schedule you could depend on.
Skelly Cat, Kolchak finally drove a stake into Skorzeny. And you would think with all that dramatic screaming and sunbeams there would be victory, right? Wrong! The DA shuts it all down like it never even happened.
Right?
I know. And Kolchak's reward? Fired again. And now he's blacklisted in every city, just about. I mean, this poor guy can't even land a gig writing ghost obits. The Night Stalker is defeated, but Kolchak's alone, unemployed, and gaslit harder than a werewolf in therapy. But the truth is out there. Somewhere. Anyway.
Wrong show, Daddy. Wrong show.
I know, but still, Kolchak was the prototype, the original monster hunting journalist. The guy had more close calls than a zombie at a zombie slayer convention. A total disaster magnet, like me trying to blend in at a PTA bake sale with brain-shaped brownies. Well, that was the Night Stalker, fleshies. A gritty, fantastic fright fest with more shadows than a vampire's Instagram account and more snark than a zombified stand-up comic on open mic night. Kolchak may have lost his job, but he gained eternal undead cool points, plus a lifetime supply of garlic-scented cologne and a restraining order from Dracula's book club. Well, that's the last scream of the night, my moldy munchkins. Thanks for creeping it real with me during the Night Stalker. With a batty blast, glowing eyes, grumpy ghouls, and enough polyester to upholster a haunted couch.
Huh?
Well, my decomposing darlings, it's time to tuck in those toes, zip up your body bags, and prepare for our takeaway lessons. If your city's crawling with cryptic capes and nightly neck nibblings, don't call the cops. Grab your garlic graters, fasten those fang-proof turtlenecks, and pray your neck's not on tonight's nosh list. Seersucker suits instant monster hunter swagger. Extra crinkle for extra credibility. Never trust the local bureaucrats with vampire cases, as they'd probably mistake a Dracula for a door-to-door neck massager salesman and file the whole thing under noise complaints and unholy nuisances. Always carry a stake, a flashlight, and a very angry letter to your editor. When a vampire is loose in Vegas, don't be the undead dum-dum signing up for freelance fang-chasing duty, unless your idea of fun is a pink slip, pointy teeth, and a one-way ticket out of Sin City faster than a bat out of hell. And that's it for tonight's lesson at Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror. And don't forget to like, scream, and subscribe, or I'll sick Skelly Cat on your browser history and replace your playlist with haunted elevator music. And if you dare miss the next class, don't be surprised when your reflection starts mocking you. Until next time, keep your stakes sharp, your editors twitchy, and remember, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean there isn't a blood-sucking night creeper rifling through your minibar and flossing with your charging cords. Stay fresh, fleshies.
Sally the Zombie. I get Zombie Cheerleader. Okay, ready? Right. Sally the Zombie Cheerleader's School of Horror!
Rita Gavin en Kolchak. Con la actuación de Simon Oakland.